Going live. I'm live. Let's see if we can hear me now. You understand what I'm talking about? I'm supposed to be live right now. Let's see what we got. We on. And we're popping, man. Yes, it is I, your boy Jack Travis, man, straight like that. Our normal, customary Sunday live, people. We are back in this building. I hope y'all in here with me today. And honestly, man, I am elated if you're not, because I have confidence that you'll run across this here live at some later time, man. I this week I put out a series of videos around the I don't know why it's a letterbox like that. It should be 16:9, but whatever, what have you. We're gonna rock with it. But yeah, man, I put out a series of videos this week around that Rashad McCants little incident. You dig what I'm saying? The crash out, the ducking of smoke incident. You know what I'm saying? And they performed really well. I actually put out 6 of them. You understand me? I couldn't get enough of it. And I gained a good number of subscribers behind that thing. Each one of those episodes about 30, 40 minutes long. And apparently I was doing enough to keep people's attention for the gist of it. And so the numbers are going up tremendously, man. So I appreciate everybody that ran across the material last week, man. And so, we're gonna keep this thing going. Um, I usually talk about that channel, or I have from time in the past. Maybe going forward, that will entice me to do a little more looking around on these basketball podcasts, because I find that these prior basketball players, they get in front of a camera and say damn near anything. You dig what I'm saying, man? So I'll do a little more keeping up with them people, man, and see what's going on in that world, man. As always, we stepping here on a Sunday evening, before we prepare for our new week, and to talk about the week that has passed here in the United States of America. And we some wild people over here, man. We keep some hot news going on. You dig me? So here we are, man. I guess we'll start at the top with what had me in the algorithm going crazy this week. So it's this whole Rashad McCants deal, man. For those of you all that aren't familiar with Rashad McCants, let me put a little message out here. So yeah, for those of you that aren't familiar with that, man, that is a fella that works over there on the podcast, Gil's Arena. You know what I'm saying? And about a month ago, now always Rashad has got wild remarks for basketball players out here in the world that happen to have a better career than him. You know what I'm saying? Happen to been getting more money out here, more recognized. You know what I'm saying? Let Rashad tell it. He better than all of them. You dig? They can't hold the candle to him. The only reason that he didn't make it out here in the NBA world and all this, that, and the third is because everybody hating on him. Now, if you've ever met a narcissist in your life, then you know what that sounds like. You understand? Everything is everyone else's fault, no matter how you slice it. And so, about a month ago, man, a couple weeks, what have you, he was on the podcast with Tony Allen, and he was talking about, some game where he was playing, we had 15 in the first quarter. And so he extrapolated that out, even though 15 times 4 is 60. He extrapolated that out and said, well, hell, if I'm at 15 points already, then there's no reason why I can't get to 81. Which prompted Tony Allen to ask him exactly what 81-point effort he was talking about. And he said Kobe Bryant's 81-point effort that I've since learned, but I still think I'm right. Someone said that Kobe Bryant did not do that in his last season. I thought he did it in his farewell tour of his last season, but somebody in the comments said he didn't. It wasn't a lot of people supporting that comment, so I didn't look in it to see, but I think I'm right. But anyways, that's what Rashad came out saying, and people started looking at him funnier because of it. You know what I'm saying? And then a Wonderon Williams steps on to the Baja podcast, or was it Out the Mud? One of the two. And he recounted a story when he was coming up through the NBA and a particular workout. And it was against to be him and Julius Hodge against Ray Phelps and Rashad McCants. All of a sudden, Rashad come up lame. You know what I'm saying? Same thing that Pat Bev said. We saw Pat Bev going, Gil brought him on the show to confront him, which was some months ago. That had kind of died down. But when they came out with that story again, it kind of flared up. And then Rashad called himself going back and forth with the guys. If you can call it that, it was a pretty piss poor response. You know what I'm saying? Rashad is went every which way but back at them fellas. You know what I'm saying? In fact, if you cover my last episode, it looked like he ready to fight the crew of Gil's Arena. You know what I'm saying? For whatever that's worth. He's more mad at them and them talking about it and entertaining it more so than the people that actually said it. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what we put out there, man. And it still ain't gotten any better. Actually, and this is gonna lead into my second topic once I get into it. Rashad McCants is a guy that I see on X, formerly Twitter, every day. With some of the lamest tweets in support of this current T.I. and 50 Cent beef. 50 Cent has been exposed as one of the lamest niggas out here, bro. Like, he was already getting cringe with all these stupid ass jokes and shit over the past year or so. And then, you know what I'm saying, he kind of cozied himself up to the red side of the political aisle, trying to do some business moves down there in Louisiana. So they got people looking at him sideways. And then he came out a little while ago with this picture of Tiny, T.I.'s wife. You know what I'm saying? And I guess the camera caught her at an in-between moment or what have you, and it was an unbecoming photo. You know what I'm saying? I guess we can all agree with that. But to go out there and to make a soapbox stance on the looks of another man's wife is never a good look. And T.I. subsequently got right on his ass. Not only T.I., you had King, Damani, Papoose has entered the chat. You dig what I'm saying? Pat put out a quick little freestyle on him, killing him, because if you let the 50 Cent stand, and I didn't even know 50 had stands like this, because I would be like, from what? You know what I'm saying? Like, you look at Nicki Minaj and she got the barbs and shit, you know what I'm saying? But they said the barbs are bots. But they in support of everything. They twist and bastardize everything to make it a win for Nikki. Nothing she does is wrong. And when 50 came with these little lame responses, the big bully 50 Cent, right? They got all the smoke for everybody. Everybody nobody want nothing with 50. He come back with these weak responses, and you see the little stands. Oh my God, y'all really think 50 T.I. can rap? He begging for 50 attention. No, 50 made an attempt at some funny, and he got the attention of the family. And as any husband worth his weight in salt, he gonna respond in kind. You dig what I'm saying? And I said a lot of times, bro, especially in this last week when talking about Rashad, bullies often get written out of the script. You dig what I'm saying? Like, I personally, I hadn't seen a lot of bullies that can actually fight. You dig what I'm saying? I've seen bullies that can fight against a lesser opponent. I've seen bullies that look intimidating. But I hadn't really seen a bunch of bullies whoop some ass. You dig what I'm saying? And so 50 for all this rah-rah and all this smoke. But I'm gonna be honest, bro. A couple weeks ago, when they had that little incident on the airplane with Ja Rule and Tony Yayo and Uncle Murder, two of the biggest meat riders this side of the Mississippi, allow me to add that. I said it right then, bro. I said, man, these niggas here ain't about no action. For as much y'all getting under 50 tweets with fire emojis and all way, oh, we with 50 in Dubai, nigga, we eating chartreuse steak, and nigga, get your ass. It wasn't because of your efforts. All right, well, them two niggas there, bro. And so, you see Ja Rule on the plane with him. And in fact, I have a very lame explanation that I saved in my bookmarks from Tony Yayo. Let's listen to Tony Yayo explain what happened while they were on that plane. Give me 1 second. And I'll be moving on to some other software soon enough, man, to where these live broadcasts will be much in the same as the shows I drop. But I don't have all that worked out right now, so bear with me. Where's Tony Yayo lame? Here's Yayo. Let's listen to Yayo.
The plane is packing now. First class is packing. Now this is the fight. This how weird this shit is. There's 2 seats left. There's one up front, and it's like one in front of us. I was like, yo, Murder, it'd be crazy. I'll tap Murder. I'll be like, it'd be crazy if he sit right here in front of us. Lo and behold, give it like 2 minutes. Boom, I see John. He see me. He spooked. He could tell TMZ, he could tell you, he could tell everybody he was spooked because he only seen me. When you see me, who do you see? You see 50 Cent, you see Uncle Murder.
Let me pause this right here. That is exactly the dick ratchet I'm talking about. So Ja get on the plane, and because he sees Tony Yayo, he's spooked. Why? Not because he spooked to Tony Yayo, but because if you see Tony Yayo, then you're sure to see 50 Cent in tow. A couple other niggas. But Yayo said he spooked because he see him. Nigga, man. Oh, man. Grown niggas, bro.
See some gangster niggas around all the time that's on
Where the
television.
gangsters at?
John know that. He just got punched out of the concert.
You ain't do it, Yayo. You, bro, never out here in the world, people that are listening to this, you can never claim toughness off something that somebody else did. Just because this nigga slapped him don't mean he gonna let you slap him. In fact, by the time you get around to slapping him, he might be done draw the line and say, you know what, the next nigga slap me, I'm gonna gun him to pieces. You dig what I'm saying? Then your all time bragging ass laid up with a memorial on TV. You dig what I'm saying? Just because you thought the last nigga you could do what the last nigga did. You ain't slapping. Yeah, what you bragging about? Niggas is wild out here, bro.
So it feel like the world is closing for him. So he see me, I see him. I'm not showing no weakness at all. You gotta remember, this is G Unit. We've been through the ringer, bro. We've been going at it with not only him but multiple street niggas, and not trying to glorify that in street. I'm just telling you the lifestyle.
I don't even
look. He's right here. I see him.
I don't even know about the we. 50 kept some beef up out here, but Yayo ain't been out here with no smoke, man. So this is what he calls being tough. Let me find this video. This is what Tony Yayo calls being tough. I see Ja Rule telling two gangsters, as Tony Yayo just put it. I see Ja Rule telling two gangsters, nigga, let's shake. Now I guess they come out and said, man, you know the flight marshal was on there. We don't want to get kicked off the plane and get banned. I guess that would have been a convenient excuse. But I see a one Ja Rule telling two fellas, let's shake. Y'all niggas not shaking. He threw a pillow at them. Yayo, them boys, nigga only threw a pillow. He threw something, nigga. Y'all ain't throw nothing but words. So these are the cohorts, man. These are the people that are young Rashad McCants. Rashad is all in the comments talking about this little weak ass song that 50 put out. Oh, the Goonies is back. Y'all better listen to 50 Cent. Nigga, birds of a feather flock together, man. You dig what I'm saying? Hey, it is bananas to see. But yeah, Rashad put me in the algorithm this past week, man, and I appreciate him for it. You know what I'm saying? But he got some, just like Papoose and King and Demani, and you know what I mean, Ja Rule is on the side of T.I. Yeah, at least you got people like Uncle Murder, Yayo, and Angry Man. Y'all know Angry Man. I'm gonna be honest, bro. The deeper I get into this YouTube world, you hear me? I'm seeing that these people are spread out in other places because this Angry Man guy, I had only seen this fella on like YouTube shorts, not even YouTube shorts, on Instagram. You know what I mean? I was scrolling my feed and I was seeing he's the guy that does, it'll be a girl on there talking crazy or something, and then he'll lean and he does this. You feel him? He leaned his head to the side and lower his glasses and something. I thought they were rather funny, little interesting shorts. You did. But here lately, I have run across some tweets from this man. He was going so far into the meat jar for 50, like, oh, I can't believe y'all said T.I.'s right. 50 don't need, 50 came out once they got to get on his ass. 50 would not come out with a song. This nigga kept putting out promos for a movie he got coming up, or some Broadway play, as if anybody gave a smooth damn, bro. We talking about some beef in these streets. You the king of beef, 50. You know what I'm saying? You be all in the documentary. You remember the This Is 50 web? Like, hey, he a beef guy. 50, I don't gotta win. I'm just winning by getting promo. Look at me. I'm in Dubai eating some steak and shrimp. Nigga, T.I. rich too, bro. There ain't a place on the planet that you can't go to T.I. can't. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't a winning argument, man. But, the Angry Man guy I was appalled by seeing, his take on the thing. And then the day I run across an Anton Daniels video wherein he's a tough guy on the camera, of course. And who's up in the corner that I see now is a usual, I guess, a floater around in these circles? Angry man. I'm like, oh, bro, like you want to live, my nigga. Like, oh man, I find it superiorly cringe. And there be chicks on these panels too. Like, who wake up talking about relationship every day, bro? Telling niggas how they need to get better, how to honor you and fear and respect you as a woman. And then the nigga on there telling her how to respect you as a man. You got to know how to cook and clean for me. And oh, this is the problem with them. Who does that, bro? Y'all niggas are, oh my God, bro. It's another cat, man. I ain't gonna mention too many of these niggas' names, bro. It's another. He used to own the club down here around where I live at, man. He frequents the Atlanta, Georgia area. Big guy. He have some curly hair. Uh, 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 when he going through his show, he hit the button a lot. I was like, bro, every day be like, his title of his show be like, uh, uh, 20 20 loose females against one black millionaire. Like, oh my God, bro. Niggas really wake up every day and put this kind of content into they. Oh my God, it is cringe, bro. I don't got time to talk. If I ain't happy with what a chick doing, nigga, I will move on. And do you know how many other shits I got going on in my life? I be done forgot about it, bro. Much less you talking about wake up every day with a whole new script written out to talk to girls and tell them what you think is wrong with them. Y'all niggas are weird, bro. But there was the kind of circles of people, man, that just had to lump into one. Now, I figured that I'm at a place with my YouTube career so far that if someone were to throw some trouble towards my page, I can get some rectification. You dig what I'm saying? So I really don't care who I piss off because I said this and I'll say it again. The majority of the people that I see here in this YouTube space, in this YouTube world, seem to have been, for the most part, dust bunnies before they jumped into the YouTube world. And it's like they didn't have any career prospects and be a big YouTuber. I, on the other hand, hey, I've been having things a long time. You know what I'm saying? I just, I've always liked the multimedia space. And so I told myself that I'll start a page because I think I may have some interesting things to say. If it doesn't go well, it doesn't go well. But I ain't gonna just sell myself out and try to be provocative and all lame, man, just in sake of some followers. And it's a lot of YouTubers, man, that you seem to get that kind of vibe from, bro. So, I guess all publicity is good publicity, like some people say. I don't agree with that, but you know, that's the circle of people, man. Starting from that Rashad thing and just talking how that went and got me into it. And just like I said, he is in support of 50 and his efforts in this beef. And I don't think 50 has made a good showing. You know what I'm saying? I do not think he's made a good showing any Agent James 8113. Who are the ducks, sir? I'm the duck. Or you talking about Rashad? Which one is the duck? But yeah, man, I thought it was bad looking. Apparently they probably not talking about it no more. Gil seemed to still have some honor in his chest though for Rashad. I think Rashad has lost a lot of respect in those circles. I don't know that you could have won on the ducking thing. But he most certainly could have got some flavor back by just being a G. But I guess I don't know, admitting the ducking. I don't think people looked at that as a valiant effort, but just the fact that it came out, man. I guess what was done in the dark is gonna come to the light. And for somebody as Rashad McCants that downplays everybody's basketball game out here, it was just very unfortunate news to hear that man ducking all these competitors. You know what I'm saying? And so moving on right along, man. Unless it's something that somebody want to say about this, get in the comments, man. I'll read them. There's not a lot of people in these lives as I do them, so I have a chance to respond to them. If not, you know what I mean? People will catch the episode after I upload it. You dig what I'm saying? Let's move on to other things in no particular order. Well, I guess if we're talking basketball, let's go to the basketball things. What y'all think about? What y'all thinking about LeBron and this Luka Doncic experience out there in LA, man? I personally will say, I think you should pay more attention to how willingly Nico Harrison and the Mavs upper staff were to let Luka get away from him, man. Like I said it before, I don't care if you score 40 points a game, sir. If your defensive efforts also give up 40 points a game, it's a wash. You understand me? It is a wash. And so much in the way that the episode, I'll edit it tonight and maybe have it drop tonight. I've got an episode about those old Chicago Bulls teams and that Golden State little squad they had put together for a while. It's an interesting debate on the show, and so I went into that. But much in the same of that, man. You talk about the defense and who could stop who. And so with Luka, bro, it doesn't matter how many points you score. You don't stop any. And Luka's points, for the most part, have to come, well away from the basket. Bro, jump about this high off the ground. I never viewed him as that much of a dog. Could he score some points? Yes, but I never thought that you could build a championship franchise around Luka Doncic. And so, when the Mavericks were available to let him go like that, that should have told you something. So now that he's out there in LA and seemingly pissed off at JJ Redick. Now, I don't know how good of a job JJ is doing. It's been rumblings about him since he got there because of that whole podcast situation with him and LeBron. And folks thinking like it's really the LeBron's team anyway. So it's in the Bronny situation. So it's just been a lot of rumblings about what type of job he's doing out there. But I saw the clip when Luka comes to the sideline and basically telling JJ to get the hell on and all that. And it's I guess he's a superstar enough check wise to do that, but you know what I'm saying? He don't get it in on the court in the way that I think would warrant anybody letting Luka Doncic get away with that kind of activity. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think that experiment is going to go well. I don't think they'll win a championship with Luka Doncic. LeBron is most likely gone next year. Do him a little farewell tour. He may even go back to Cleveland. I think that would be the player way to do it. You know what I'm saying? I think they got a better squad out there in Cleveland anyway. So y'all think about Luka, man. Is he worth the trouble? You know what I mean? Money seems to be like water in the NBA now, so I won't say if he's worth the money, because apparently once one player gets signed to a certain amount of money, then it's just a natural occurrence that every other player is going to demand in. So money wise, I don't know if that's the conversation to have, but impact on the court, I don't know that he has that. You know what I'm saying? He's a professional basketball player. He can play at a professional level, but I don't think it's anything that separates him into a higher echelon of being like a championship worthy dig that you build around, man. And so I don't really like the whole mystique around him as if, but when it comes to somebody of a certain demographic and in the sports world, they don't have to do much to be deemed as like the next big thing. You know what I'm saying? They love doing that, bro. So you know what I mean? Y'all comment on that and tell me what y'all think about that Luka Doncic situation. I guess we can stay in sports. We can stay in sports for right now. Well, no. Let's move on to other things, man. Some pop culture music. Pop culture material. So this past week out in Los Angeles, California, a one Nipsey Hussle was honored with the renaming of a boulevard after him. The plaza where the story is still shut down. I've been out there a couple of times, man. So if y'all would happen to go out there these days out there on Crenshaw, which is no longer Crenshaw, it's now Nipsey Hussle Boulevard. I don't know that you'll be able to see the Marathon store as it was, but I don't know. I just saw a clip and I saw him walking through a parking lot. I don't know if that was the particular parking lot. I got a feeling that it's still closed, but I don't know for sure. But he was honored with the renaming of the boulevard. Black Sam and them opened up another restaurant out there. But unfortunately, at that restaurant grand opening, I don't know the exact story, man. He said something about the rolling 80s. I don't know. Let me not get all these gangs mixed up and shit like that. But apparently a guy shows up that was on the blackout list. You know what I'm saying? As far as Black Sam's concerned, because apparently this guy had been on with Whack 100, the ultimate hater of the world, especially of a Nipsey Hussle. And I guess, was talking sideways about Nip after his death, kind of going along with some of the things Wack had to say, because that's kind of like when Wack made his big entrance into the YouTube social media space, you know what I'm saying, talking crazy about that whole Nip situation. And so the guy apparently, it shows a run in that him and Black Sam had earlier, and apparently this guy was in that. Now the first story I heard was that it was a guy in there talking crazy, and they had to escort him out, and Sam walked him around the corner, but stopped short of going all the way with him. And then I heard that it was a guy that they already knew of, and it was a confrontation. They was like, bro, you can't be here. And they went to walk him out, but only went so far. And around the corner, whoever come and guns brought down. I think a couple other people got hit too. Whack 100 has got his own version of events on this thing. Damn, that just made me think about the homies, man. I was supposed to alert to a couple of people about this live, but I completely forgot. I'll catch them next time. But yeah, man, that put a big damper on it, bro. Niggas can't have, like, we can't have nothing out here. You dig? Oh man, like, then in LA, bro, that gang, that whole dynamic, man, it's fascinating, I guess, to say the least. You know what I mean? RNSP is a nice little channel on YouTube that I catch all the time, and I ain't gonna hold you, bro. Is he the feds? Like, is he the folks? You dig what I'm saying? I rock with the channel, but I am amazed at the amount of material that this man has on all these gangs and gangsters out in LA. I even heard him say one time, it might have been Cap, though. I heard him say, yeah, we was in the hood the other day. We rode up in the hood and they gave me to download some info. And I'm just like, bro, I just, there's something about that don't add up. I cannot see RNSP just pulling up into all these random hoods or any hood with the stuff that he talks and promotes and all of this. I couldn't see him pulling up in any hood and they just like, oh, that goes RNSP, man. Let's tell him some hood news. And the reason I think that may be Cap is because here lately, at least, I've heard him say a couple times that it was a video he had to re-upload because the people he was talking about in it, had it taken down. So it would sound like they not really in agreement with what bro put out here into this YouTube world. But he says he can get into the hood and get all the info. And so it's kind of fascinating to watch all the politics behind that, man. All the crazy names, you know what I'm saying, and the affiliations and all the little robbing crews and all that. So I guess the politics of gangbanging out there extends common sense, you know what I'm saying, and just uh, you would think, bro. I don't know, man. What Nipsey was trying to accomplish out there in L.A., bringing the two sides together. You would think that, especially after his passing and all that, bro, you would think that those are spaces that cooler heads would prevail. You know what I mean? But now in this situation, if it's the case that Broad had a dark cloud on his head because of the previous comments about Nipsey and niggas just say I'm standing on business. Now this nigga he made himself available. You dig what I'm saying at the grand opening, like he ain't on the blackout list. So yeah, then I don't know. I guess what I mean. I guess it's a certain amount of business to be stood on right there that I can't really can't really boohoo on. But that happened, and I think bro lost his life. I don't know what's up with the other two, but it's kind of crazy, man. But when you look at the way that Eric Holder did Nipsey, I guess we can't be surprised out of nothing coming out of Cali and the gang banging scene, man. But that was a big deal for them to honor Nipsey, at least on the other side. A lot of the big time politicians, the governors, and all of that was out in the building. You know what I'm saying, showing support. Um, they took a good one. Eric took a good one, man. You know what I'm saying. I think bro had some. I think he had some valuable insights for the community. You know what I'm saying, or what have you, or at least maybe just in the rap game. You know what I'm saying. Maybe just a better example to follow because rap music these days is just so crazy, bro. I don't even understand what niggas be saying, how niggas be looking. Now, it's a lot of different rappers out there. I don't get the time to try to scout through all of them to be able to say, okay, this guy got the. But the mainstream ones, the ones you see, like I'm not an NBA fan. I don't know that I really. I remember he had that song, "Left Hand, Right Hand." That was probably like 10 years ago. I remember that. It was cool, but I ain't really been hip to nothing lately. I saw a video. I see a lot of videos from NBA, bro. And I don't know. Y'all tell me unless do y'all think otherwise. All right, like I'm sure they call him Top, right? I'm sure Top got a lot of firearms. Yeah. But this is America. Everybody has a lot of firearms, at least one, and you can't use like one at a time, right? it's odd to me how much you see little bro. And you saw him at the little fashion show here lately in his Rick Owens at the Rick Owens fashion show out there in Paris. You know what I'm saying? Arms out and shit. Like, young boy can't be by 130. You know what I'm saying? And bro, I don't know unless anatomy and just fisticuffing done changed. Man, the nigga that 130 ain't finna. Anatomy dictates that you're not that strong, bro. You're not swinging that hard. So I always see a video from this nigga talking about how tough he is and who he hate and what he'll spit on somebody's girlfriend. Then nigga, what you think his boyfriend gonna do? Just say, "Oh, you NBA young boy. Thank you, master, for spitting on my girlfriend." Nigga, what about a nigga punching you? Can you fight back, bro? Sure, you can grab your guns or your goon can grab their gun. But nigga who ain't got a gun, who ain't got goons. So I always see bro talking like he just choke slamming niggas out here. And I'm just looking at his build up and I'm like, it ain't even possible NBA. You know what I'm saying? So, those are like the leaders of the rap squad these days, man. So you figure if a nigga like Nipsey would have stayed around, maybe certain people wouldn't be at the forefront of this thing because it's a lot of questionable personalities out here, man. And maybe I'm just old, bro. You know what I'm saying? I never thought I'd get to the point to where like I hated rap music like almost, bro. But I don't have time to listen to it, and so the things that do come to my ears and the images and videos and depictions of these gangsters out here, it's not convincing, bro. I don't come from the school of being scared of anybody, but most certainly not some niggas I'm seeing out here, 130 pounds, you're paying so tight that you don't have a gun on you, you can see it. So nigga, what you gonna do with me? I don't know, man. But that's these are the people we got out here in the world these days, man. Moving right along. Stay in the rap game. Eric Michael Dyson said Jay-Z about finna put a green light on him, man. I didn't go all into that because I'm just like, who is Eric Michael Dyson to be listening to with an opinion on Kendrick Lamar and the Drake beef and the rap? Like, you feel me? I respect Eric Michael Dyson for being a smart guy in the world of like just politics and like culture issues and things like that. But I don't look to Mr. Dyson for a relevant opinion on the rap game. And, you know what I'm saying? But apparently he had something to say about that, and that drew the eye of a one Jay-Z. They said Jay out here got his hands in everything, manipulating the algorithm and sending threats and this, that, and the third. Unverified, but at least in this instance, he says, yeah, Jay reached out and called me and asked me, you know what I mean, check my temperature, you know what I mean? But I said, bro, you put the camera in front of people's faces these days, and they think that is a green light to, be the trendsetter for the culture, man. You dig? And so it ain't a bunch to talk about that. I just had it on my list. What is else out here in the news, man? Mr. Tenderism seem to be done got his thing, right? You dig? I wouldn't mind stopping by bro spot if I ever get the chance. I think he about to bring a location to Atlanta. That would be cool. At least he's talking to some people. I think an attorney down that way to try to get something going. Out in Texas, Houston, Dallas, one or two. I'm sorry for not being as thorough with the research, but Cartel Bo, if I'm to understand correctly, after the fallout with Unc and Destination Smokehouse, I understand that Cartel Bo said, man, we got to stand up for Unc. Let's get Unc right, and he bought him a building and got in touch with Unc. Unc come and checked it out, and now Unc is doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? You understand me, man? So I'm happy for that. Now I will say, because we cut it down the middle over here. Now I heard Unc explain he was on Nightcap with Shannon and Ocho, and I heard Unc explain how this whole thing came about. And apparently, before it was Destination Smokehouse, it was a coffee shop. Unc strolls in one day. I don't know the conversation, how they went from coffee to gumbo, but Unc said he prepared some gumbo, and he been there ever since. So apparently the gumbo was so good, they said, sir, we need your cooking services in here on a full-time basis. And come on in. Now, I don't know Unc financial situation before he got into that thing. I don't know what they hired him as, but if you walk in and you do something so awesome and outrageous to where they want to put you on the staff or part of the business right then and there. Now, you may not be in a position to at that time, but whether you know it or not, you have got some legalities and some paperwork and some percentages to get squared up because that should tell you that you are a vital part of what they got going on here. Now, if you're not in a position to kind of demand that, you don't have the money and got a law, you're not incorporated and all that, it's easy for people to get over on you. That's the story of the music game. Like, you know what I'm saying? Most niggas out here want to be rappers. They ain't doing nothing but rapping, bro. They call themselves trying to stay in the streets all day so they'll be available to rap. And so, the finances a lot of times aren't right for them to be able to turn down a deal. That's why they end up signing 720 deals. So in Unc estimation, man, Unc may not have been in a position to demand any kind of percentages and stuff like that. And that's probably how they got him into it, just being a part of it. He just happy to be around. You know what I'm saying? They probably let him get free food, paying him a little something, and he cool with it. And so, that kind of puts a little that kind of put a little check mark on how the things is playing out now because yes, obviously the owners of Destination Smokehouse were taking advantage of um but again, the way that all came together, Unc may not have been in a position to demand anything other than just being a part of it. Um I don't know if that would just cause me to cast too many dispersions on Cuz from the beginning. You dig what I'm saying? At least the way that the deal came together in the beginning. Now, what happened after the Keith Lee situation and them not allowing Unc to go up there and get that bread or meet Keith Lee, and for the guy to say he didn't know who Keith Lee was, like, how could you have a restaurant out here in the world of 2025, 2026 and not know who Keith Lee is? Um, so that's one thing. And then, the little videos they put out after that, it just kind of sounded like he was throwing Uncle under the bus and not being humble about the traffic that Unc had brought to him and Keith Lee, and then he tried to make it look like Keith Lee was intentionally trying to make him look bad, and bro, being who he is, the owner of Destination Smokehouse, trying to disparage Keith Lee's name or anybody from the culture, bro, was never going to go right for him. You know what I'm saying? And so, and I've seen plenty of videos since then. I've seen this other girl creator that apparently got into it with his wife. The wife accused her of begging him for a hug. If you've seen this cat, like, I don't think there's no chick out there other than his wife begging him for a hug. But it was just a really poor showing, and so people went from maybe getting some credence to it just been a misunderstanding in the business deal to, yeah, bro, you definitely guilty of trying to take advantage of Unc. You know what I'm saying? And so from what I'm understanding now, the lines are empty out there at Destination Smokehouse and whatever. I don't know if Unc's location are fully going at this moment, but I know it's a lot of people itching to go out there and check him out, man, and see what's going on. So good for Unc, you know what I'm saying? Like I say, I don't know if I'm blaming guy from the original inception of the plan to bring Unc in or how that all went, but most certainly the way that the owners of Destination Smokehouse handled the trademark and then the backlash and just the whole social media presence was a bad look. And so I wish them all the worst. No one eats barbecue at any establishment that they have something to do with. You dig what I'm saying? Straight like that, man. How long have been going? 38 minutes. We got a couple more topics. We can try to get a whole hour out this thing. What else do we have here that's worth something, man? We in World War III, whether y'all know it or not. You know what I'm saying? Now, let me not laugh because apparently it's been some soldiers that already lost their lives, and there's bound to be more. So if you've got a loved one that is in the military and armed forces right now, they say it's not going to be boots on the ground, but some kind of way people got killed up. So, if you got some people that are available to go into that fight, man, I wish you all the best. You know what I'm saying? Better you than me, I guess I should say. And I'm an only child. Like I tell you all, man, I've lived a very, very full life. You dig what I'm saying? This is like Forrest Gump. 9/11. You all remember 9/11, of course. These are some of the things, and some of the people that they swear would like to do that again. So this is why we kind of over there. But yeah, the morning of 9/11, I was at Fort Benning, Georgia, buddy, in full fatigues, and I watched the second plane hit the towers. You know what I'm saying? But long story short, I am an only child, and the only child cannot go to war. And shout out my mama and my daddy for that. And so I was back at home about a week later and destined to not go to anybody's war forevermore. So good for me. But again, if you have people out there, we respect and honor their service. We appreciate it because here at the end of the day, when you have warmongers and people that care F all about other people's lives and their family and all that, you have to have some people to go out there and for them to use, man, which is a harsh way of putting it. But unless you agree with what's going on over down now, that's pretty much how we got to is using bodies to accomplish their goals. And like I say, man, if you happen to have a family member that is susceptible to being in that group, I feel for you, man. Hopefully everything goes well and you are able to receive your loved one back home when their tour duty is over, man. But it is a wild world we living in. We're not supposed to be in the new wars. You know what I'm saying? We're not supposed to be doing none of this. If you remember what certain people said out of their mouths on the lead up to the election and all that last year. But here we go. It's supposed to be a lot of things not happening that are happening right now. So again, this is what we have going on in the world, man. Moving on along, since we're speaking about politics and presidents and all that. Y'all gonna vote for Stephen A? I guess if they voted for DJT, I guess they probably yeah. I guess you can see a contender of people voting for Stephen A. But yeah, Stephen A. Of ESPN fame, Stephen A. says he wants to be considered for the role of the next president of these here United States of America, man. You dig? Niggas just get out here and say anything these days. It's not even something that I would take serious from Stephen A. But he's like a what do they call him? They've got a slick term for it, but I just like a surface level politician. Stephen A. reads a tweet or sees the latest headline on X or something, and he just develops an opinion. You can hear Stephen A. talking about stuff, and he's like, "Well, maybe my producers can fill me in." Like he obviously goes into something, not knowing what he's talking about, but he can scream loud about it. He's heard enough about it to where he feel like he's upset, and he's got some loud words to apply to it. And as long as he can talk loud about something, I think Stephen A. is pretty much in his comfort zone. You know what I mean? And so that's what he's out on about these days, running around looking like an absolute fool, opining on things that he has a very surface level understanding of. And I hope he does run, because that'll be an opportunity for Stephen A. to find out just how unpopular he is out here in the world amongst the culture, this, that, and the third. So I hope in the best. I hope he does run, get his millions together, and start putting some commercials out here, and so we can start breaking them down. And so I don't know what ESPN is looking like over there, man. They fired a lot of people, and apparently, like, Stephen A. is kind of like their flagship, if you will. He's on TV a couple times a day, and it's like they use him to carry every show. And I don't know how good of a combo that is, but he did say he figured it out. He said this to Clay Travis, of all people. And I'm looking at the wrong camera. I got like 3 cameras here. Clay Travis, of all people, and he said he figured it out one day. He said, "I woke up, figured it out, people. My plan, my goal every day in my job and what I'm doing is to make my bosses more money." I think he said he told his bosses that. "I just want to make you more money. But of course, I want a little bit of it, boss. Hey, master, can I get a little bit of that?" Stephen A. So, again, I say, bro, Stephen A. is one of the most unserious people out here. But he thinks he can be the president of the United States. Now, I think that's a job that has been taken down a notch. So I see how the regular layman out here would figure that, hey, I can do that. Hell, if he can do it, I can do it. You dig what I'm saying? But that's not the direction we need to go with the highest, most prestigious title in our government and the world over. That's we don't need to go and lower the standards for it. So, but I would like again, I would like Stephen A. to run so that could be a supremely embarrassing moment for him and for him to understand where he actually sits on the hierarchy of important people and people we take serious out here in the world. So, moving right along. Hey, roll tide. Yeah. Are you an Auburn fan out there? Well, the Bama basketball team beat the brake shoes off the Auburn Tigers last night, and I love to see it. That Auburn team has fell off tremendously, man, ever since old Bruce Pearl left. They said Bruce Pearl used to be up to some nefarious things. And he had a clause in that where when he left, they had to, not they just had to interview him, and they had to give the job to his son, Stephen Pearl. Well, I said that was going to backfire because I'm like, who's coming to play basketball for Stephen Pearl? You dig what I'm saying? What basketball? Who is Stephen Pearl? They know F all who he is. You dig what I'm saying? So when I heard that a little while back, I said that's gonna be a death knell for them. And then Bruce Pearl is big on the whole Israel thing and all of that, and he doesn't let some violence come out of his mouth. He's like a Newsmax type of guy. So screw everything associated with the Pearl name. So I'm glad that they losing like hell. I'm glad Bama beat them up last night, and I was loving to see it because Bama's been kind of up and down this year from what I understand, but they up enough to destroy Auburn, and that is always a great thing. 46 minutes. I might try to stretch this, man. I kind of ran through with the Anton Dan. What did I watch from him today? Shout out to my boy LTTV, man. LT had a stream going on today, and he was covering this Anton Daniels thing. Now, Anton, he stays out here in the news for some type of cringe ass take, but him and the Corey Holcomb thing had got popped off a couple of weeks ago, and the fallout from that, and different creators covering that thing, and exposing the relationship with him and this Mika chick, and they both ended up doing interviews with Tasha K, one of the most messiest spaces in the world, and throwing each other on the bus. Mika all of a sudden started claiming like they her and partner wasn't even cool. They don't even really know each other. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of drama behind whether her husband knew about it, and it came out that Anton and her husband had never met, which was weird. And then you got Anton throwing her on the bus. And then this most recent episode, bro, like a true woman, bro. He's like, I don't know, bro. He alluding to putting her business out about who she's had sexual relations with, um, which is never a good look for a dude. And I see a lot of times in the entertainment where, oh, you was over there laying up with bro, and bro got nigga so dog. Who man, the internet, bro, like, oh man. It's a lot of loose morals. There's a lot of loose associations, man. There's a lot of loose movements out here, bro. Like, yeah, lines are crossed because dudes do a lot of suspect shit when it comes to how they handle their internet beefs these days. You know what I'm saying? Um, I've always found it kind of cringe, bro, when like even you know what I'm saying? Just think about like when you back in school or something, you know what I'm saying, and you had some smoke with somebody. And you was talking to your homeboy about it. Something like I would catch myself before I'd be like, man, I'm finna put a nigga in the figure four. I'm a choke slam, bro. I can't wait to get over there, nigga. I'm a L nigga. Cause it's like, bro, you just be talking, man. Nigga, like, do something when it's time to do it, bro. Like that's sitting in front of somebody else that ain't talking about what you gonna do and how you gonna do them, and like it's always weak, bro. So Anton Daniels had that kind of after the fact spoke for Corey. Now I don't think we've covered Corey full well. Corey didn't handle that situation correctly, but Anton on who he gonna get at, and then he get to talking crazy about Meek. And I think today he was talking in that clip about the guy no captivity with Feezy. I just got familiar with Cuz through watching LT. But Anton is another person that has had a million hosts in and out of this show. And like I said with Rashad McCants, man, when a whole bunch of people don't like you, at some point you have to realize that it's most likely you. You know what I'm saying? And from what I gather from Anton, man, Anton apparently first came on the internet with half a head of hair and a sign that read, "I will give you $1 for a hug." He wanted to hug. I only saw really some white people out there in the streets of Detroit, Michigan. And so he had a sign. And so he said with his sign, "If you will allow me to hug you, white person, I will give you $1." Well, guess what? Everybody was rich in the streets. Ain't nobody need $1 from Anton. This is how he started. And then I guess seeing where he was at and what he was doing, you can see his transition into the like the black MAGA conservative space. And then, he grifted over into that. And so now he's got a following. And I imagine all of the people that I saw on that panel on that show today are of that ilk, bro. And that is like one of the weirdest group of people to belong to in the year 2026. I ain't gonna hold you. I used to, well, I ain't gonna say I stopped, but I'll do a political show here and there. It's got to be something funny though, man. I try not to get into the seriousness of it, at least on this page, but black moggers and black conservatives, man, are some of the worst human beings out here. It just makes no sense at all. So I'm looking at the panel of people we're on him with it today, and I'm like, damn, bro. So apparently this is a little group of his cohorts. And like I said, Angry Man was up in the corner. I'm like, damn, bro. I guess I don't watch enough of these people to really know what they own, but I would have never pegged Angry Man for that. But when I ran across his 50 Cent defense and being on that Anton panel, I said, okay, I guess it all makes sense. And then apparently he's from Detroit. Now I've chronicled. Well, I hadn't said what happened, but I've made no bones about my disdain for Detroit, Michigan. I ain't got a lot of love for Detroit, and I got relatives up there, but ain't no love lost between me and Detroit. So maybe that's got something to do with how these niggas act, man. But yeah, I saw Cuz on there, and I guess it was fitting that he would be on with somebody like Anton. But yeah, Anton, you can't be out here exposing women's sexual partners, bro. You dig what I'm saying? When we understand that you're apparently one of them, of Mika. Not that you're a player, he a player, but we figure he bought it. You know what I'm saying? We figure he paid for it, and we figure Mika was probably, willing to take that little change. We don't know for sure. This is all allegedly, but them just the messy spaces, man. I guess I'll cover one of those videos here in a minute. I've come across a different little format in which to bring these shows to my folks, man. It seemed to be working. Like I said, last week, everything I put out went on up through there. So we're gonna keep that going, man. Keep them subs coming, and I'll let them in the algorithm. I can't wait till these lives get big though. You know what I'm saying? So I can kind of actually interact with some people. I want one of these beefs to come, to be honest, bro. I can't wait for one of these because it happened to me last year before I was monetized, and they were successful in thwarting me off of that page. But I came back strong, restarted, and now I'm up. Now I got contact with creative support and all that. So I don't think those things could happen again. But I am waiting. I am waiting for one of these niggas to get mad and say something out of the way because I am going to have a absolute fabulous time in my first internet beef with one of these square bobs out here. I ain't gonna hold you. What else we got to talk about? I heard some disturbing news about the Breakfast Club, man. But I don't know how disturbing it is. I think that they're having some difficulties over there at Netflix with some censorship and being able to kind of do what they want to do or doing the things that they were doing before they joined up with Netflix. And people say it was a bad move to go over there, but I figured, man. I said last time I gave one of these lives, I kick myself in the butt every time I think about this. I originally uploaded my first video to YouTube in the year 2007. You understand? Now, I was in the music business at that time, so it was just like some little music videos, some little freestyles and all of that. And then I let it go as far as regular uploads shortly after, the music thing. I kind of went into a different path. It's like producing and all of that. It wasn't so much of the rap thing. And so I really wasn't uploading anything, man. And then I started a couple years ago and meant to start up doing code and all this and the third. But I'm saying all that to say, a couple of years ago, the podcast space, you could have said it was saturated. Not even saturated, but it was popular if you kept up with that kind of media, right? So here in the year 2025, 2026, man, Sauce Walker just started streaming last year. A lot of rappers and all that are going to that because when I understand the music, unless you're touring big, the music game ain't really hitting like that. So said that to say, everyone has a podcast these days. If you have a cell phone, huh? If you have a cell phone, a smartphone, and you have a studio, you download a couple of apps, play around with them, learn how to cut and transition to this and this third. You've got a production studio. You know what I'm saying? And so, with that said, and these creators aren't on any kind of at a studio, getting paid on a contract, so they can wake up and go live or produce content at any time. They can say what they want to say. They are not held by what some sponsors wouldn't want. Now in this game, you try to monitor what you're saying for sponsor purposes, but you don't really know what they're talking about behind closed doors. So you don't really know what's banning you and what's getting you up through there. But um I think it's easier for a person to be able to seek out a creator on YouTube's or the Twitches or the Rumbles and all the Twitters of the world at any time, in which they put their stuff on YouTube too. But as far as that, being a paid subscriber to Netflix to watch the Breakfast Club, listen to the Breakfast Club, who ever thought that was a good idea, bro? I don't know that I would have ever thought that Breakfast Club was a good enough, strong enough show that a person would purchase a Netflix membership to, you know what I'm saying? Like, it seemed like it was a natural understanding that, bro, you're gonna lose a hell of a lot more listeners than you're gonna gain. If it was somebody in the group that thought, man, you know how many people are signed up to Netflix, and I guess maybe you could think you got some default views because by them being in the app and they put Breakfast Club in the suggestion screen, somebody might click on it. But that's just like YouTube, bro. If you're gonna go and test the algorithm, you could have just stayed on YouTube where you already had a established base of 250,000, 300,000 views. You know what I'm saying? If you were gonna go into the Netflix space and like, well, we'll get enough people that it suggested to that people will click on it. Like, hell, I never saw, but they could have saw the writing on the wall, man, and like the viewership numbers may have been on the decline. Now that people can go out and seek out their favorite creators at any time of the day, this, that, and the third. And then with Charlemagne, man, Charlemagne is almost another example of a black guy that gets to be well paid out here, and all of a sudden thinking that makes you smart because he started to delve into politics too and being on CNN and all of that. And but at the same time, sitting beside Andrew Schultz that had Donald Trump on his podcast, but now is crying about he didn't vote for this and he regrets his decision. So Charlemagne kind of made people start looking at him crazy too, man. They had that whole drama with Lauren LaRosa and I almost called her Pinky, bro. What's your name is? Jocelyn. What's her name, dog? Some more. Ain't this? God damn. Jess, hilarious. Jess was gone on maternity leave. Lauren come in. Lauren was much better and prepared, more well read, and people were clamoring for that. And the Angela before that. So they had a couple of controversies in the last year, so that I think may have impacted their viewership and all that. So they may have looked at the numbers, man, and those checks may have been dropping down by a couple thousand, whatever, and said, let's just go ahead and sign this contract, get these millions up front. And in a couple of years, if it fills it out, everybody just go in their separate direction, what have you. But from what I'm understanding, that Netflix move was not what they were planning for, man. You did what I'm saying. So we'll see how that falls out. I got some things to edit and some more shows to come out with. We got about another minute, man. I vow to do an hour in this thing. Well, damn, I got a couple people here, so maybe I'll keep going for a little couple more minutes, man. What else is on my list? Nick Saban talking shit about NAL. Maybe I'm fickle, bro, but I really had a lot of respect for Nick Saban when he was the coach for Alabama, but I've seen him in some places, in some spaces since he left Alabama that make me look at Cuz sideways. And he was at this little meeting at the White House a couple days ago and giving his thoughts on how he felt about players getting paid. And from what I understand, that was a big part of him leaving and retiring so abruptly because NIL was due to start, and it said that Nick Saban, and it's a bad look if this was it, but damn, it's a bad word. And they say he was afraid to compete because they said a thing about Nick that, and I, being a lifelong Alabama Crimson Tide fan, I can't say some truth to it. He would stack the roster. You dig? Like our third string at any given position could be a starter at any other school. He was a 5-star. You know what I'm saying? But it was the prospect of going to Alabama to play for Nick Saban. The whole pro pipeline they had put together up there. A lot of players wanted to go there, and I'm sure that they were paying the players on the table. That's been going on for years. You know what I'm saying? And so they said when it came to where other teams could apply their funds to procuring some ball players, they say Nick got scared and like I don't want to have to compete. I don't want to have to go through a season where you winning the game is dependent on the play on the field and not you being able to just swamp people because you can bring in 5-star body after 5-star body. If he did, that'd be a bad look. But like I said, here lately, he's been talking about how he felt about players being paid, and I don't think any college coach should have a lot to say about that. Nick Saban for sure. Alabama made a nigga a billionaire. You dig what I'm saying? Now, you can say it was through business deals and all this, that, and the third, but college football made him into that person that was worth those deals and all that. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that, you let now the NCAA should have most certainly put some guardrails, man. I personally think that they should have started with like a year tier, right? As a freshman, you're entitled to so much per year. Sophomore, junior, senior. You could have did a signing bonus, the way that they doing contracts in professional leagues. Um, and if a particular sponsor, if Tyson Foods wanted to take Ryan Williams and give him $7 million a year for being a chicken sponsor, so be it. But from the schools themselves, man, and these collectives, these NIL collectives, I don't think they should be. I don't, to be able to just go to one player, like give him $4 million. I don't really think it's too many high school athletes coming out of high school that are worth $4 million to a college program. But if you get in there and you run with it, but obviously from what we can see these days, man, there's too many players just wanting to skip schools and jump around. Trinidad Shambliss just got his 6th year approved, and you had the Adebayo dude playing basketball for Bama. So a lot of people in fact, this past season, I think there was a college out in California, and the gist of their roster was like over 26 years old or something like that. Now I may be misquoting that thing, but there's a lot of people taking advantage of that system. TJ Finley's of the world, you know what I'm saying? The Nico I'm a leaver. Tennessee quarterback that's out there in UCLA now. So it's kind of an example of people being able to transfer to another school immediately, get a check, and just kind of keep that going. And it kind of kills the fandom of a team, bro. It's hard to be all in on your team this year because next year your 4 top hitters could be gone somewhere else. What does Lloyd Smith 4668 say? Rashad energy has changed a lot since the OLC came out. Yeah, bro. In the last show I put out yesterday, thanks for the comment, man. The show I put out yesterday, it was reviewing one of the most recent episodes where you can see that Gil is still pissed off about what went on. Nick and Gil seem to kind of get a little smoke. But Rashad is, he's trying to let somebody step into the fire, or he's trying to speak as though he's an enlightened individual now, and he's had an epiphany about how to view things out here. But it's like, I think the writing is on the wall because anytime he comes out of his mouth about with a crazy basketball take or something, or some tough shit or something like that, I got a feeling that Gil and probably Kenyon and the others are just gonna go right back into how not only he ducked the smoke 20 years ago, but you ducked it when it came back up anew. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really see him wiggling out of this because for such a bravado that he tries to portray, his response, bro, was I mean, one of the weakest sauces that I've seen sold on the shelves here lately. You know what I'm saying? It was just piss poor all the way around. Now you the bigger man. No, bro. A nigga that's crazy and an ass whooper, he doesn't care about being a bigger man. Nigga, holler at me when I'm coming out the precinct after posting bun. You dig what I'm saying? So yeah, it was a bad look for him, bro. And if the attitude that Gil is displaying keeps up, I got a feeling that it's gonna boil over. Now I understand that they out of the studio right now because they're getting the studio built. And a lot of people said that they think Rashad is valuable to the show. I guess from the controversy part, to kind of have a devil's advocate out there. But you know, after the dog cloud he put on everything, I don't know how much of a value he is to the show. And like I said, Gil seems to be at his point to where he like, bro, especially the way Rashad called himself getting madder at the cast than he did the niggas that's making jokes about his hairline and all that. It was a bad look, bro. So yeah, Lord, you're right, man. He really has changed his energy. Yo, that turned down. I hadn't watched it today or maybe in the last day or two. To see what may have happened, but I got a feeling there'll be a lot more click worthy moments coming up out that thing. You dig what I'm saying? Well, I'm glad I saw that and got that comment in, man, before I ended up leaving up out of here. Is there anything that I have not covered? I think that's pretty much it, man. Rashad McCants, 50 definitely lost the beef. Unfortunate happenings out there in LA at the Nipsey, I should say the Marathon Burger grand opening. Shout out Nip, man. Shout out Black Sam. You know what I'm saying? Keep doing your thing out there, bro. Anton Daniels crashing out again. Want to put women's well, he had pillow talking on his show with Angry Man and another set of characters on the screen. We're now in World War III. You dig what I'm saying? Watch to the skies. Keep your head to the sky, man. Make sure ain't nothing coming down on you. You dig? Luka Doncic, not worth the trouble out there in LA. Failed experiment, if you ask me, incoming. Roll Tide. Alabama defeats Auburn Tigers as they should. You dig? Tenderism. Back in business, man. He got his own thing going. Destination Smokehouse. Deuces to you. Stephen A. Smith, stupid as he want to be. Breakfast Club regretting their Netflix move. And Jay-Z told Eric Michael Dyson to shut up, man. You dig what I'm saying? That's pretty much where we are in this rundown, man. It is 9:53 by my yeah, you just got a man up, Lord. But I think it's about over with at this point, bro. He had his opportunity to he's had his opportunity, you know what I mean? Like I said, he made a couple of enlightened comments doing the stream a couple days ago, but I don't think he has it in him to come out and say, "Hey, man, you know, I should have applied that energy to myself." You know, I don't think he'll ever do it. So, big up to him if he's trying, man. We won't beat him up too bad, but like I said, man, appreciate the comments. Agent James, Lloyd Smith, 4668, man. We do this every Sunday, supposedly at 6. But I guess I'll at least put a notification out there a couple hours early. So when you do run across your YouTube, you'll see opportunity to turn your notifications on, man. But yeah, I'm excited about growing this live and bringing that into the forefront of the channel, man. But I appreciate a couple of y'all people in here. Y'all some of the first, man. Y'all keep sticking around and some we might make y'all the mods and all that, bro. You dig? But I'm gonna get ready to get out of here, man. Eat me some little food and all that. Get prepared for the next week. I hope everybody doing well, doing swell. Stay tuned to the channel. I got a couple of things to edit and come out with. I'm excited about the growth that I'm seeing here lately, man. So I'm going to try to stay on my upload schedule, and you all stay with me, man. I appreciate it. So until we come back in the next day or two, it's been straight like that. I'm out.